Hello YouTubers and welcome to Black Monday, the day after Henley Royal Regatta finishes. Finals day yesterday. Today is just that day where a lot of people, especially in the UK, whether they're a club rower, an international rower, elite rower, schoolboy, schoolgirl, with some loud birds above, your season can be, or is now, at an end. So it's almost as if, like, I woke up this morning and thought, oh, I need to go to training, and then it's actually no, there's no training today, so I'm having a little rest. But we'll get to that later on in the video. I'm just talking about the mental side of things. Like I said, bringing you all along with the journey, and I'm sure some of you watching will be experiencing the same thing if you raced at Henley or have built up to a big project or a big race, and then you finish the project or you finish the race, you finish the regatta, the tournament, wherever it is, and then you think, right, what now? And so basically a lot of that is to do with just how you're, so right now for me there's no schedule now. It's up to me to turn up to practice if I want to go out and do things. It's no longer, okay, I have to turn up at wherever it is time in the morning for training in the 8, and then I do get some breakfast because food is fuel, and then I go in the next session, then I go in the next session. That's not happening until training officially starts later on in the year. So partly no schedule now, and I have to get used to that for a little bit of time. And I think the biggest thing is you no longer are, well, two-part thing, you're no longer held accountable by other people, or at least for me, when we're not training in a group, it's no longer a case of, oh, if I don't turn up to training today, so it's my rest time, it's okay, I'll be okay, I'll get it tomorrow. So I can be guilty of that. I'll turn up in an hour, I've got nobody waiting on me, it's all on me, so maybe I'll get there after lunch rather than before lunch or something like that. And that can be a big thing. But I think the biggest thing is kind of similar to that, is the fact that you're no longer in a group, no longer training with a group. And in that group, I spoke about being in an 8 and having that atmosphere, and it can be any type of boat, any type of team. When you finish the project or the race, the regatta, the tournament, you are no longer, you're still part of that team obviously, but it's no longer, you're no longer seeing that team every day, so it's not, that atmosphere essentially just goes from the peak of all time to flat, no atmosphere, because everyone goes and does their own thing for a little bit. Like I said, you're by yourself to go figure out what you're doing, whether it's training wise, work wise, or whatever, and then you're kind of just left there in a little bit of a no man's land until you figure out what you're doing. And that's where I'm kind of at now. But that is sort of where I'm at, and what does that mean going forward? So like I kind of alluded to there, it's on me, it's what my training is just now. We have a break at Leander Club. What you do, you finish Henley, and then you can choose what to do over the summer until we start training in September. So from now, start of July till September, we have off. And so some people take the time literally and do nothing. They take it really off and do nothing. Some people take a little bit of time and go straight back into full-time training as a wasp goes around, and other people just sort of do a combination of the two as another loud plane passes over the top. And that's kind of completely up to you which option you go with, depending on what your training goals are, what you're sort of looking at doing, whether it is in rowing or elsewhere. But what I'll be doing is a sort of mixture of the two. So time off to recover from the big peak, which won't be a lot. It'll be maybe a few days, and that will be off time. That'll be me doing nothing. And then sort of, I don't want to let the fitness come way down, so I don't want to take weeks off. So I will be trying to probably not maintain, but be doing something every day, whether that's cycling, rowing, on the erg, on the water, probably not running, haven't done a lot of running, so it's taken a long time to get into running. Weights or any other type of exercise, just to get the heart rate up and enjoy what I'm doing. And that's what the biggest thing about taking time off and training during your time off. Sometimes you want to avoid the thing that you do normally when you're in season. So I'll do probably less rowing and less erging unless I'm really up for it and really motivated, because the more motivation you spend on rowing and erging during the summer, I feel like the more likely you are to be demotivated by it in the summer. But obviously that kind of changes. Sometimes you really want to hop on the machine and go to town, and other times you don't. So I really recommend, if you're trying to train during the summer, to find something that you really enjoy that isn't your main sport but is as close, or at least the muscles that you would use will be useful for your main activity. So for me, doing a lot of cycling can be a good idea. Getting on the watt bike really burns the legs, and then when you hop off the watt bike and go onto the row machine and go in the water, it's like almost makes it easier, almost. But the activity that you choose to cross train, if you're doing cross training at all, is completely up to you. But I really think that picking an activity or multiple activities that you really enjoy just makes the training that bit easier, and especially when you're by yourself during down periods, it just makes it a bit easier to sort of get up out of bed and go do an hour run or cycle or wall climbing or swim or whatever it is that you find enjoyable. It just does make it that little bit easier to go out and do by yourself, because like I said before, when you're not held accountable by other people and it's just you, there can be a time when, since the motivation isn't quite as high, or the chances that your motivation is a bit lower now because of you've just finished for the season, are higher, if that makes sense. But what am I doing now, video-wise, outside of training? So obviously, like I said, I won't be training for a little bit, so a few days off, and then I'll be hopping into training. So the videos won't be stopping like they did sort of last year for a few weeks, but I think there'll be a break now for a few days while I'm just messing around. But there is a massive thing happening now, or tomorrow even, that you'll find out in the next video that I put up, which I'm not sure if that'll be, it'll probably be a couple of days, just so I can really just recover from everything, and then you guys will find out about the news. But I'm not sure if I'll be posting that to my Instagram, so if you keep sort of tabs on me there, you might find out before the video is posted. But it's a pretty big thing for the YAMSQUAD, I suppose, or definitely for me, and it'll be hopefully improve myself mentally, especially through sort of the winter, and there's a whole nother lots of videos I'm trying to make about sort of mental health and through the winter as well, but that's down the track a little bit. And I'm going to try and do some other videos related to sort of the videos that I couldn't do while I'm on full training. So actually go out in a day and make a video, rather than I'm training and if I'm doing a workout, that's what the video is based on. So maybe, hopefully, I've got some guys that are rowing outside at different times than I am, and I can film them rowing and make videos and do things to make sort of a bit more varied videos. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see anything specific. So I'm looking at doing sort of drag factor videos, rowing technique videos, and different things like that, on top of just a couple of other different things, just to vary up the content a bit during the summer while I can, instead of having many daily vlogs through the summer, because the daily vlogs when I'm training are, I think, just open up the rowing world to the YAMSQUAD and let you kind of see what I do day in, day out, and also what it takes to train every day, and not necessarily that I'm doing it right, but it gives you an eye into that. And lastly, you may have noticed a little bit of new YAMSQUAD merch. I had to get that in there. If you're interested in picking up one of these new YAMSQUAD tops, and there's a couple of other t-shirts on there that are new as well, head on over to YAMSQUAD.com, and that's in the link in the description below. And lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about my Patreon as well. That is a huge thing for me right now. The support I'm getting from you guys that have contributed to the Patreon is absolutely fantastic, helping me row full time, making videos as well, and helping me sort of keep going and doing what I'm doing. I had to talk with some of the guys who their funding got cut and they've had to stop rowing because they can't continue rowing and not have a job. So you guys in the Patreon and the YAMSQUAD watching the videos have really helped me out and been able to continue the rowing and the videos obviously as well. So if you wanted to take a look at the Patreon, the link is in the description below. It has trying to do a podcast every month for the Patreon patrons. There's shout outs, there is exclusive merch and different things, but let me know in the comments below if you think there should be anything on there that maybe needs changing, or anything that you might think that could be added to add value to the YAMSQUAD that I can sort of not be overwhelmed by, but can offer you guys maybe some help somewhere. And you can also be part of the Patreon, supporting me in rowing full time and making videos, pushing the YAMSQUAD as far as it can go. But that will be it for today's video, YAMSQUAD. Not sure when the next video will be. We'll see. And then there's, like I said, big news coming in the next couple of days. So maybe a few days off and then we'll get into the videos. But as always, YAMSQUAD, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and thank you so much for all of the support over not just the Henley campaign but all year, whether that's messages, positive messages across Instagram, whether it's positive messages in the YouTube comments, or coming up to me and saying something positive on the towpath yesterday was absolutely amazing. And it's just humbling to see how much the YAMSQUAD has impacted people in rowing and outside of rowing as well. And have a good one.